Hello, my fellow hoop heads. Today on One and Done, my broskies, Mike Holland and Jay Heinrich continue our summer road trip series, taking the old I-84 to Idaho to sit down with Boise State Broncos head coach Leon Rice. Make sure to stick around after as Mike joins me in the studio to talk about the conversation with Coach and do a deeper dive into the Broncos squad and the Mountain West as a whole. Here's our interview with Boise State Broncos head coach, Leon Rice. Enjoy.
Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce today's special guest on the One and Done program. He is the head coach of the Boise State University Broncos, Coach Leon Rice. Coach, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. Welcome to the show.
All right, great being here with you guys. Appreciate you taking the time.
First, wanted to congratulate you on another successful season. You wrapped up your 14th year at the helm for the Broncos. We saw your program rack up 20-plus wins for the 11th time, a second-place finish in what most are calling the toughest year in the Mountain West, and a third straight trip to the NCAA tournament. Before you arrived, this program hadn't experienced this type of sustained success. What have been the keys, foundationally, that you've established to build and maintain this level of performance?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what you said right there is a big key to it. Is we wanted to lay a foundation. We wanted to, think long term when I took this job and build something. I came from Gonzaga and I was there 11 years with Mark, and Mark was an assistant for a long time before he was a head coach. And, it's just brick by brick. And when you build a program and you want something that's sustainable and you want something that's going to keep growing, and that's what we're able to do here at Boise.
We are here with Boise State head coach Leon Rice. Coach, you've had the pleasure of watching your son Max play a pivotal role through your most recent success. Max finished his career as the winningest player in program history, along with some other accolades as well. And then, of course, Cade has been there with you for a little bit of this ride also. So what's been the best part about going through this journey together as a family?
Well, I think we always talk about when they were growing up, there's good things about the job and there's tough things about the job on a family. And, one of the tough things was I missed a ton of his stuff when he was growing up. When talking about Max, I think he played in 4 straight state championships and I didn't go to one of them. We were playing or we were on the road or something. And so, that's the tough part of the job. Well, this was a benefit of the job that we got to spend these last 5 or 6 years together, traveling together, competing together, and accomplishing some things that this program had never done before. And, he ends, like you said, as the winningest player in the history of the program and, one of the winningest in the history of the Mountain West. I think he's maybe second or third. He's right there in the top. So some pretty amazing accomplishments for him, but he was always about winning games and doing whatever it took for the team to win. And so, that's why I think that's a big reason why he had a special career here.
Definitely a fun story to watch there, Coach. Now, talking about your roster upcoming here, you got a couple of guys returning, Tyson Degenhart, Omar Stanley, along with a few others. How excited are you to get these guys back in the upcoming year?
Well, you talk about those two. I mean, they're going to be 2 of the best players in the league, 2 of the best players in the country. And when you start a roster with a nucleus like that, they're proven guys. The thing people don't know about Omar, he played with a broken foot last year and he got it fixed. He's really close to being, fully back. We're taking it slow with him, but you're going to see an even different, better version of Omar that you didn't get to see last year. I think Tyson has done a great job with his body in the off season. He's looking terrific right now. And, so you're starting your team with 2 all-league players, probably first team all-league, 2 player of the year kind of guys. So that's a pretty good place to start a team and build a roster from.
No doubt about it. It definitely helps, and it helps when those guys are putting in the work in the offseason and you're not having to chase them down or have one of the assistants or whatever, the strength and conditioning coach, so and so in the weight room, when they're taking care of it themselves and setting those examples, you got to love to see that. And Coach, another thing you love to see is the type of job that you've done assembling talent in this new player mobility era. Alvaro Cardenas is a guy that sticks out to us as a player who can come in and play immediately, given his familiarity with the conference, the efficiency of his production. So what are your expectations for him and maybe some of the other guys that are new to the program as you go through those summer workouts and into fall camp?
Well, we put together, my staff, you got to give them a ton of credit. We put together a roster that seems like it's really going to fit together. Number one, they're high character guys and they're producers. I mean, they get stuff done, and it's going to be exciting to watch because Al is a veteran guard. He knows how to play in this league. And, that's what's valuable, really valuable, to have guys that have done it in this league because, it's an adjustment when you come into a new league. And especially, I think this one playing on the road is so tough. And the athleticism, like you said, last year we had 6 teams in the tournament. And that's, you could make a case for UNLV had they not started. So, they had some hiccups early before they got their whole roster together. So you had 7 teams that were NCAA worthy and really, really good. And, Al's been through this league and he averaged 5.5 assists. I think he could be a guy that makes a run at leading the nation in assists with the group that we have put together. And then, we got 2 other transfers who I think are going to jump in right away and play for us. And we had a couple guys redshirting, some other guys back. And so I think we've put together a really, really nice nucleus.
Absolutely have to agree with that, Coach. I wanted to ask you about the Boise community and the student body. So KenPom Analytics had the Broncos home court advantage ranked 53rd in the country last season. How does the support from the Boise community and the student body contributed to this ranking, and what impact does it have on your team's performance and the morale?
Yeah, it's huge because you can't build a program if you don't have a home court advantage, and that's one of the first things you have to establish when you get to a place. And that's something that attracted me to Boise because I had seen what they'd done in football. And it took a while when we first got here. I remember coming out for the first game and Max was just a little kid. And, we left Gonzaga and we came out for that first exhibition game. And, man, you could have fired a cannon in any direction and you wouldn't have hit anyone. So Max was like, what have we done? What have we got into? And I just remember saying to him, I mean, think how cool this place is going to be when we fill it up. And that's what's happened over the years. And it's kind of brick by brick, one person at a time. But now we're getting these great crowds and it's huge. It's huge for our home court advantage. It's huge for our players. And they're getting to see some great basketball in the Mountain West and the teams we bring in. And I think this year we broke records. I think next year we could even exceed those records.
Yeah, you mentioned it right there. Set a record last year for attendance. Over 169,000 fans came through the turnstiles to check out the Broncos. Quite an accomplishment there for the program. And you mentioned the football program, and we often hear how the athletic department is the front door to a university, and sometimes the football program, specifically the blue turf, getting on television and how good that team was in the early 2000s, especially, and how that program has sustained. And now you coach on the basketball side of things in an increasingly tough conference here. We talk about how tough the Mountain West was last year, and you brought it up, might have even gotten slighted because of the quality that UNLV had in terms of tournament bids. And we feel like we mentioned it at the time that there was a little bit of lack of respect regarding seeding for the Mountain West as well. So a 2-parter here for you. How has the league grown and evolved since your arrival? And on the whole, like across the country, do you feel like the conference is undervalued or maybe not given the respect that it deserves?
Well, there's a lot to that question. This league, from the moment we got in, I mean, you look up and down. I've been in this league a long time now, and there has been ebbs and flows. And we got 5 teams in about 5 or 6 years ago. We've gotten 4. We've always gotten a lot in, mostly. But there's just been great coaches through this league, great players, number one picks in the draft, MVPs of the NBA, the highest level at this league. But, so that's always going to ebb and flow. But last year, man, it was from top to bottom, maybe the best it's ever been. That is probably no doubt about it. And I do think it hurt us seed wise. We didn't maybe get the seeds that some of us deserved. And my experience with NCAA tournament, so much is on matchup, so much is on seeds, and that you get the right seed, it can propel you to a big run. You get a break here or there, and but you just got to keep plugging away, and eventually you will get those breaks. So that happened to us at Gonzaga in the early days. One year we were 6th in the country, and we got a 6th seed. So sometimes it takes a long, amount of time to get the respect that you deserve, and we just got to keep plugging away, keep putting quality up there. And it showed how good a league we are last year or 2 years ago when San Diego State went to the national championship game, and they got 5th in our league last year and got a 5 seed. So that right there is pretty good respect. But I think as a whole, I think some of us were underseeded, especially us.
Yeah, Coach, we're looking forward to another fantastic year of Mountain West basketball. Final question for you. It was just announced that your program will be participating in the Cayman Islands Classic. This is a return visit to the tournament for you guys. What are you most looking forward to with this event?
Well, when we played in it last time, it was a quality event. And the gym was great. The referees were great. The place we stayed was amazing. The island was awesome. We like to get to those destination, multi-team events and, with quad one opportunities. And, with the changing landscape, there was a couple teams that pulled out, but we pieced together I think they pieced together a great tournament. And, you got some ACC schools, some high level. I think there was 3 teams in the field that were in the NCAA tournament last year. That's always a good sign, and some really, really good basketball teams. And so it's going to, it's a great event for our guys. And we always get them out doing other things, swimming with the manta rays, things like that, that are valuable experiences. Yeah.
That stuff. That's good times, Coach. That is good times. And this conversation has been good times. A fantastic talk with 2-time Mountain West Coach of the Year for the Boise State University Broncos, head coach Leon Rice. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on One and Done, and we look forward to catching up down the road.
All right, guys. Appreciate it, and looking forward to the season starting. We'll
absolutely
see you at the games.
There it is. Big thanks to Coach Rice there. Let's get into some reactions. I'm thinking first and foremost, I think everybody was seeing this. What a beautiful backdrop. What a beautiful setting Coach had behind him, right? You could hear the birds chirping. He felt like he was in a Zen garden of some sort. Even some like snowfall, it looked like. It was real nice. But one of the big things I took away from this was, you got a good insight on the sacrifice that it takes to be a head coach when it comes to family, right? And him having Max there and him being a quality, I think is an understatement, quality player for him is really nice. But that's kind of my takeaway there, Mike. What were yours?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing, big thanks to Coach for doing that interview with us. Just very personal. You can tell just by listening to him that he's been as successful as he has at that program. One point that kind of stuck out to me was that he talked about, when he got there, you could fire a cannon and in any direction, it wouldn't hit somebody. So really talking about building the program, with the support of the community, getting that home court advantage. It was attracted to Boise because of the community and the football team, right? We saw that in the early 2000s and the blue turf and everything. So he's kind of building his own culture there. So just laying that foundation, packing the house and breaking records now. So this is, especially, obviously a bonus in a tough conference. So you have to protect your home court. We know how precious every conference game is. So really protecting your home court is huge. And then also he likes his roster coming back. I mean, whether it's the guys that are coming back or some of the newer faces, and, we'll dive a little bit more into the roster later on. But just a an awesome interview. I appreciate him taking some time to chat with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Another key word that he said in there too was high character players being in there. So always good to hear that. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. This summer road trip series is going, as it says, all summer long. We're going to have a ton of other coaches coming on. Make sure you know when we are coming on. Plus, our Sunday show, we're always going over news, notes, and the happenings in the college basketball world. So as Mike said, let's go ahead and do a little deep dive here. Mike, in the interview, you rattle off, all the accomplishments for Coach Rice over the last 14 years, namely second in the Mountain West last year, third straight 20-plus win season, 11th 20-plus win season overall, and third straight tourney appearance. And, I mean, the list just goes on. And then even when you look at the advanced metrics, I mean, this was the third straight top 50 finish on KenPom. There just aren't many weaknesses on a year-to-year basis with this team, right? The question is, can it get that elusive tournament win during his tenure? Mike, I mean, looking at the roster for next year, how are they going to be able to get this accomplished in March?
Yeah, I think that's, the one thing that's missing, and the one thing that is going to be checked off pretty soon, and potentially as soon as this year. I mean, you really look at it, like it was reported today, they added another piece to their roster. Former Lehigh forward Dominic Parolin, the transfer commitment was announced a little bit earlier today. So he's going to be able to provide some solid depth behind that dynamic front court that they have. So, I mentioned and asked about, and Coach talked about Tyson Degenhardt and Omar Stanley being not only two of the best returning players in the Mountain West, but in the country. And that is a great foundation to start with. Degenhardt averaged 16.7 points, 6.1 rebounds. Stanley averaged 12.7 points and 6.6 rebounds. So you really have to like, what this front court can do for you. And then you have upside, with the addition of Dylan Anderson from Arizona. And then you like some of these other guys that are going to be coming in here, just giving them, different looks and depth. The backcourt's going to look a lot different. We talked about his son, Max, is moving on. That was pretty much a staple in the program for such a long time. And that's where the addition of Alvaro Cardenas comes in huge. I mean, he was a 13-3-5 guy, shot 40% from three from San Jose State. That's a team that's in your conference. So, obviously familiar with the conference. That cannot be understated. Can you get significant contributions around him from, someone that's returning like an RJ King, a redshirt freshman last year, Chris Lockett, a lot of pedigree in the recruiting ranks there, or a Javon Buchanan, who was a NAIA All-American last year. So if you get one or two of these guys to really take a step forward, the pieces are absolutely there for this team to be in position to win a tournament game in March for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I can't wait to see it. Right. But before you get to the tournament, you got to get through the Mountain West. You got to take care of business in the Mountain West, right?
You do. Yep.
I mean,
absolutely.
But the biggest thing is, it feels like this conference is a little more wide open than it has been in years past. I mean, you still have San Diego State and New Mexico. They're always a threat, right? There's a lot of talent that went out the door, but these guys these programs have guys that are just waiting to step up, right? We mentioned the Broncos finishing second last year. Could we see another top three finish sitting here in late June, Mike?
Yeah, it's always tough, right? Like we're sitting in the dog days of summer, but I mean, the way I see it, like there won't be a heavy favorite. Like they're, kind of San Diego State's kind of been, that heavy favorite over the last couple of years. But when you look at it, there's going to be a lot of really good teams. Coach mentioned it, like the coaching that has been in this league and the recent surge of talent in the league have obviously made sure of that. So for me, I think the Broncos are a lock to, have an efficient offense. They're going to have this trio of Degenhardt, Stanley, Cardenas. That's kind of like a big three that you can, kind of pencil in there. And then obviously all these pieces that we just talked about, they can definitely challenge for the crown. I want to see some improvement defensively. I think offensively, they're not going to have any problems. You say defensively, but when you look at it, they were 29th in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency. So you ask, like, what more do you want, right? I think really what you want to see is the improvement in the paint, right? So they were 259th in opponent 2-point percentage and 305th in shot blocking percentage. So if they can even see a slight increase in those areas, I believe the Broncos are going to be a problem in the Mountain West, and not just in the Mountain West, on the national level. And that's why I think we can get that win circled in the tournament for Coach Rice in the near future.
Absolutely. Great stuff. Love to see it. Coach Rice, he was a great interview. Really appreciate everybody at Boise State that was able to make that happen. Make sure you like and subscribe. We have the summer road trip series all summer long. Plenty of other content coming out. We have the top 500 transfer big board still out there on drroto.com. We have UTSA next, coach over there. Then Temple, we have the coach over there. So lots of big names coming through. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you know exactly when we will be coming in. Make sure you follow the gentleman over here at MC Holland 34. Our guy Eric the Blue, always not far, pushing the buttons behind us at Fantasy Nav. And of course, our guy Jay Heinrich, who's just doing that interview as well, at Dr. William Cannon. My name is Chris Napier, aka Napesy Hustle. Until next time, let's get that bread.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.